Welcome to the RePsychled podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts, Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
Dr. LaFonya Jones-Hines,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not going to be your stereotypical therapist.
What we will be is informative, down to earth, a little spicy, and vulnerable.
All right, interns, turn up your volume, grab your pen and paper. It's supervision time. As a reminder, this podcast is not meant to take the place of a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Welcome back to session 107. Can't stop, won't stop. Today's music is brought to you by DJ, aka Terrence Howard. And the song is entitled Hustle and Flow, It Ain't Over. It's the saddest song on the soundtrack.
If y'all can't guess what the movie's going to be.
Just give it, you stole it.
Might be a little hustle, a little flow.
Yes. Memphis, Come on through. Tennessee.
All
right. So what is hustle culture? That's what we're talking about today. Hustle culture. I have to say that real slow, y'all, because I can't.
It's hard.
Hustle culture is someone who hits the ground running as soon as they wake up. So you wake up, you immediately grab any electronic that you can. You probably got all your electronics right there on your nightstand or on the floor, whichever one you have. And you also set these like short deadlines and continue to wish that there was more than 24 hours in a day so that you can work and hustle some more.
Basically working yourself to death, where work takes on more meaning than your life does.
Yes.
Trying to get to the next goal, the next job, the next raise, the next whatever.
The next level, the next title.
And just some history 101. We don't have a overlay for that, but working yourself to death is derived originally from slave times, where literally the slave would work themselves to a point of death, and that was the only acceptable way for them to be in the fields or in the home or whatever.
Yes,
absolutely.
So how is the hustle culture harmful?
First and foremost, I think it leads to burnout. And we all kind of know what burnout is, but it's when you essentially reach a point where you don't have the energy, the drive, the desire to be able to continue doing whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're working, you don't feel like working no more. You don't put any investment in your performance. You just don't want to do.
You're operating on fumes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think it really sets you up to not be able to self-regulate or to have any intuition about like, how am I doing? Is this healthy for me? It's just like this undying look at this one goal, and there's no realization of what you're destructing on the way there, or what you may be missing or not getting to participate in. It's just like you have blinders on, and that's good for like short periods of time, but that can't be the only way that you operate.
Yeah,
it allows you as the employee to continue to chase something. You're always chasing the next pay raise. You're always chasing the next title. You're always chasing the next good idea. So what happens is you're not stable. And you continue to move the goalpost. You can't even celebrate where you are because you're always looking forward. You start future tripping.
One of the problems with hustle culture is it's often celebrated, praised, and pushed in certain spheres. So you think about the music industry or really the entertainment industry. hustling and pushing and grinding is considered to be the norm. Sales, that's another one where you are expected to push and grind and just keep going, get that next commission. So it's hard to not engage in that kind of mentality because you're a part of an industry that says that is what you do. If you're gonna make it, if you're gonna get a certain level of income, then you don't have anything other to do than work yourself to the bone.
It's almost like the conditioning series that we learn about in mental health. Is you get to a point where you get this salary and you don't know like how you're going to be able to, or when, let me take that back, when you're going to be able to get this bonus, but you know it's coming. It's like playing the lottery. You know it's coming, you just don't know when you're going to win it. And so you keep chasing it until you win it.
Yeah. I think another issue is that because it sometimes is pushed and praised, it leads to feelings of guilt, shame, and things when you don't make it to the upper level. And it causes you to just grind even harder, which then leads to further burnout because I didn't get whatever this prize was at the end. And the expectations are, just way too high.
And it creates anxiety because if you think about all of the people, not all of the people, but a lot of the hustle mentality people, they tend to drink, they tend to use some sort of illegal substances because they need to feel like they have to stabilize themselves by coming down off of the high that they already have because they're chasing.
Yeah.
I think it is also important to realize, like with hustle culture, there's in America specifically, you cannot work yourself to a place of greatness. It's more than just like the hustle. It's more than just my drive that's going to get me there. Yes, that is an important part. Like, how is your dedication? How is your work ethic? But the hustle is not always what gets you there. It's the connection. It's the product that you're pushing. It's multiple things. But when we only think about, okay, I tried so hard, why am I not getting this? Or I tried so hard, so that's why I got it. It's not just that.
Yeah.
No, of course not. It feeds into self-esteem issues. It feeds into this idea of, if I don't get there, then I'm lazy or I'm inept. All of these personal kind of narratives that we've talked about before in the past, that if I have a lens that says I'm inadequate or I'm unworthy, and I'm in an environment that pushes this type of hustle culture, it's just going to reinforce those ideas because of what you just said. You can't work your way there simply just off your motivation and your desire.
Because that motivation is going to run out. That energy is going to run out. And what will happen is you will then start to feel less than. You will start to feel like you're not worthy, or what's wrong with me? Why can't I'm doing the same thing? This comparison, because I'm doing the same thing that this next person is doing, and they succeeded and I didn't.
Yeah. It's a vicious cycle. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you're just really spinning your wheels. And some people are going to be successful engaging in hustle culture. So it's not to say that people are not going to be able to do it and get there. There are a lot of people that grind for years and years and years, and finally do get to a point where they've made it, whatever made it is for them, right? But for the most part, when you get there, are you even going to enjoy it?
Are you going to be looking around the corner for the next best thing?
Or will you be so tired that you don't? Or will you be so tired physically that you don't get a chance to enjoy it? Or will you be so tired mentally of hustling for this one thing that it doesn't hold the same weight or meaning to you that it did in the beginning?
Or would you have done so much damage to you physically, meaning heart attacks, diabetes, the physical medical conditions, that you can't now enjoy it, or you can't stay there because it's life or death?
Hustle culture is definitely a short game that everyone acts as if it's in what is it called? Double overtime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's that level of energy. I got to hurry up and get there. I got to do this. I got to do that before the other person gets there, or I got to do this before time runs out. And unfortunately, we don't, like I said earlier, we don't play it like it's a short game. We play it for the long haul. And because of that, our body having that level of stress hormones rushing through it, it's constantly in a fight or flight. Um, and it's just not going to work out well for anybody. So you have to eliminate some of that stress, those stress hormones out of your system in order to like get yourself back at a neutrality or a neutral
Regulate.
place and be healthy. This ain't even about getting to the goal. This is just like, are you going to be able to have a quality of life once you have done all of that?
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember that you cannot keep up with other people. You know, one thing I do believe is that, and I know we talk about social media a lot, but I believe this has enhanced people's need for pushing because what they see online. You know, they see people taking trips and people buying cars and flashing money and buying bags and, you know, doing all of these things. So they believe that that's the lifestyle that they need to live. So they push for stuff that likely is not even real. What they're seeing, you know, a lot of these images are crafted and curated. These are not natural things that you're seeing or even real. So I think just consistently consuming information and images that push a certain way to live can force you into working harder than what's necessary, and it may not even be something that you truly want.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. You have to determine what you actually subscribe to. Like, yes, everybody wants to have money and be comfortable. Yes, everybody, well, not everybody, because I don't want to have to clean no big old mansion, but some people want to live in a mansion. Okay, I get it. But do you subscribe to that? Do you want to live in a mansion, even if you do have the means to purchase it? Or are you okay with having a 4-bedroom home or a 5-bedroom home and you're just fine? You know, you have to figure out what you subscribe to, because I've always been told that people who have money, you won't know that they have money, because they're not very flashy. They don't drive, you know, Lamborghinis and Bentleys all day. They have like a Honda Accord that they drive every day.
I'm about to get a tiny home. I just don't have it in me. I don't have it in me.
I would love that.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be cute. It ain't gonna be like toe up and raggedy, but I'm gonna have to give me a tiny home.
It's less cleaning.
Yes,
because it's tiny.
I mean, ain't gonna be nothing but books.
But I agree with you, ladies. You know, I think everything is just skewed. We've skewed a lot of things in American culture that
we put value on things that don't matter. You can't take none of that stuff with you when you die. Wherever you believe, whatever you believe, or wherever you believe you go, you can't take it.
And is that what you want your legacy to be? Oh, she was a hustler. Like, okay, if that's the only thing that you have to say about me is that I would grind.
Yeah.
Is that I can't remember what I was listening to, but it was something about, it was a Navy SEAL. And one of the things he was talking about was like over, acceptance, like of responsibility. And he was saying that when you leave, you want to have a final sentence. Like, this is, what do you want your final sentence to be? And do you want your final sentence to be, she was a hustler or he was a grind? Man, he was on his grind all the time.
And for some of you, that may be okay for you, and that's okay. But you have to figure out if that's what you want it to be. And if you want it to be that, then hey, go for what you know.
Sounds stressful. And I want to be able to, I said this before, I want to have a soft life. I don't want to have a hard life. I don't want to be out here struggling, trying to look like I'm keeping up with the Jones Hineses, you know, or whoever. I want to just be keeping up with me. Like if there are things that I desire or want, then okay, let me figure out a plan to go get that.
Mhm.
But let me also enjoy the path to get it. It's not just these destinations, it's the journey to the destination, and then you figure out your next journey. And I think we miss a lot of life by just having these moments instead of enjoying the whole thing
and planning better.
Mhm.
Because, like you said, like, I don't want to work. Although I love what I do, I don't want to do this. I want to be able to retire so that I can then do other things that don't include me having to work. I don't want to have to hustle when it's time for me to retire. I want my legacy to be that I was able to live life.
Agreed. Agreed. So
Mhm.
then what do you do? That's the thing. We talk about what are the effects. We know there are going to be psychological effects, emotional effects, physical effects of hustling and just going, going, going. But how do you deal with that? Like, when you realize, like, hold up, this is not, like you said, this is not the life I want to live. This is not how I want the second half of my life to go. How do you start addressing that?
So I would say everything starts with self-awareness. Y'all gonna hear us say this over and over and over and over again. It's everything start with self-awareness, because if you can become aware of the change and the change that need to be made, or that you are indulging in this hustle culture, then you can make a change. If you notice that you're exhausted, if you know that you're depleted and you don't have anything to give anybody, including yourself, then you know that that's the culture that you're subscribing to right now.
Mm-hmm. One thing I was thinking is have a high and a low for the goal.
Mm-hmm.
If you are pushing towards something, so what's the low version of that goal? What's the high version of that goal? And then try to find something in the middle. Because if, I want to be a CEO, that's not realistic for every person. I know we like to tell people you can grow up and be whatever you want to be, but that is not real. It just isn't. It's just not realistic for every person. So find the high version of your goal, the furthest that you can go, and then find the lowest version of that. And then where do I fall based off my actual skill set and my true desire, not the desire that I've looked at, not the desire that's been placed upon me, my true desire for what that falls within that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then try it out. You know, is it applicable to you? Are these the things that really like have a desire pop up in your spirit? You can't just be out here, ooh, I'm a, like Dr. Strickland said, ooh, I'm gonna be a CEO, and then you hate being in the office or you hate running stuff. You don't like to manage people. You in the wrong profession. Like that's not for you
Mm-hmm.
at all. I mean, each of us have businesses. We each are CEOs. Like we each have our own thing. And any of us will tell you that is a 24/7 job.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a 40-hour a week job. It's not 60 hours. It's 24/7. It's times where I'm doing 3 jobs in 1 hour. You know what I mean? So I think you have to ask yourself, is this truly what I want? And then try it on for size. And if it don't work, do something else. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then I would also say, look at how you want your day to be like. If you want to figure out things that you want to achieve for that day, then write those things down and figure out how to implement other things in the day that does not always require you to be grinding.
Yeah.
So that you can focus on something else. I think Dr. Strickland put a post up the other day about getting sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you include things like that so that it's not always, oh, I gotta get it, and then you still miss it.
Yeah. Well, this is where boundaries become exponentially important, because if you don't know how to set boundaries with yourself, again, boundaries is not always about an external setting. Like, you do sometimes have to set internal boundaries, because you can run yourself ragged, and even the people around you are saying, like, you're doing too much. You need to slow down. But in your mind, you're like, no, I gotta get it. It's going to be important for you to know how to tell yourself no. Not just, oh, we're going to learn the art of saying no to other people. No, we can be our own worst enemy sometimes.
Yes.
So learning to say, I need to sit down somewhere.
Right now.
And this is just to piggyback off of what Dr. Jones Hines was saying. Like when you get ready to structure your day, you need to have a variety of different elements in your day. That includes, do you have time for meditation or prayer? Do you have time for sleep? Do you have time for food? Do you have time for creativity where you brainstorm things and you go into that realm? And then do you have your power hours where you are in your hustle mindset? But that shouldn't be a whole day of that.
And when she says, like, do you have make time for food, not you eating and researching and eating and researching or eating at your desk. No. That's when we talking about go eat out at on the patio or something like that. Get away from your desk. Don't take your laptop or your iPad. And for some of you probably don't need to take your cell phone either. But I know some people like to listen to music. So, but take the time to make sure you can do those things. Eating, that's a bare necessity.
Well, I think this, just piggybacking on that, this would go back to our session on sensuality. Are you sitting and immersing yourself in a moment, or are you, like you said, just rushing to try to get through your lunch so you can get back to doing whatever it is that you do?
And it ain't going nowhere.
No.
So
are you
fake.
Tasting right,
taking the time to
and
taste
as we know, it only moves forward.
Yes.
But like, are you taking time to taste your food? Like, or did you just shovel it into your mouth to try to hurry up and get, like you said, get back to your desk or get back to your computer? Or did you actually take time to go to the restroom? Or have you been holding it all day? And then you about to pull your pants down on the way to the bathroom at 7 p.m. because you haven't gone to the restroom since 9 o'clock that morning.
And when you get older, you can't do that.
Right.
No.
Because you're going to pee on yourself.
And we don't like that.
We don't like it. And for those of you who have that hustle mentality, because the thing about it is, we're not trying to say that having that hustle mentality is always incorrect, because sometimes in order for you to start a business, in order for you to have things, sometimes you do have to have that grind. But some of you who just always have the grind, like you just never stop, then if you're gonna work hard, then rest hard.
And notice, we are not having the great debate of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, because we don't believe in that stuff either. That's why we said earlier, it's more to it than just hustling and you finding your own way. And I got it out the mud. I don't want to get it out the mud.
Well, that's why I don't believe in the. That's why I don't believe in the concept of self-made.
No,
I don't understand that kind of description. Because no one is self-made. No one gets anywhere completely on their own. Now, you may be the creator, the founder, the idea generator, but other people had a part in creating this vision and making it a reality. Someone either helped you make something, market something, gave you a critique on something,
gave birth to you,
paid money and invested in your product or service,
mentored you.
Exactly. Like, so no one is just like, I did it, it's all me, I made this myself. Because if you use that self-made, that's really what that means, is I did it. It's myself made it. But the way people try to use it is if, oh, this individual just came up and rose up through these ranks and got to the top and made it. But it unintentionally negates the work that is done by the other people in your circle.
Yeah.
Be careful out there, guys.
Be careful in these streets.
As you listen to this, ask yourself, am I falling prey to hustle culture?
Yeah.
And
I will tell you, I think all of us can attest to, at some point in our lives, depending on how old you are, having that mentality. Because I know for me, when I was working on my doctorate degree, I had to work 3 jobs and to make it, and I was going to school. So, that to some people will sound like it's a hustle mentality, because I had a goal, I had an agenda, but I quickly found out that is not sustainable for me.
Agreed.
I can't think of when I went through school, any of the times, I can't think of one time where I had one job. That's all I did.
Yep.
I was sustained emotionally, mentally, financially, all the leads. I can't think of that. And that is why I always end up in somebody's hospital. Kidneys not working properly. Like, I know for me personally, when I'm in hustle mindset, my body is always the first to go. My mind is very resilient, thank God, because you're going to have to send me the inpatient, but my body will break down. I'll get sick.
Yeah.
I'll find myself being incredibly sensitive to everything. Now, I'm an empath, so I feel everything, but I'm not necessarily sensitive to everything. I'll look at you like, you'll be all right, you'll be strong. But I'm taking in everything. And so that's something that I think if you are aware of like what your lead up to that is, it can better help you steer a different direction or incorporate some coping skills like we were talking about earlier. If you don't, you'll blow right on past that and really will be somewhere half dead.
Yeah,
I agree with all that. Well, anything else?
No.
See, we told y'all about to get the quick, fast, and the hurry ones since y'all don't want to be listening.
Yes. But we also have to announce our winners.
You know what? You're right. We almost forgot. So, to give a little bit of a drum roll, please, y'all. Our first winner is Jennifer. Girl, you was in there. You was giving me life for real.
Okay.
I was agreeing with just about everything. And our second winner is Stevie. So we want to thank everybody for participating in our 2-year anniversary. We were super excited. We hope you will stay tuned with us for year 3 because we're trying to do some things, tighten up this ship a little bit. Speaking of hustle culture, we're trying to get this thing right. So thank you for rocking with us. And as usual, we always end off with a quote.
So this one is anonymous and it reads, "Don't hustle, align. Destroy the idea that you have to be constantly working or grinding in order to be successful. Embrace the concept that rest, recovery, and reflection are essential parts of the progress towards a successful and ultimately happy life."
Must be this volume control.
So, okay, interns, process your notes. Be sure to catch us next session and find us on all major platforms at the RePsychled Podcast. If you're a new intern, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we are shifting and reshaping our psyche through healing conversations and connections, one discussion at a time.